Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another Jurassic World figure review. Today we got two figures we're going to be taking a look at today from Mattel's Jurassic World line. And I'm pretty excited because, these are two new species that are brand new to Mattel, but also brand new to my Jurassic World Mattel collection. So I like to collect every single species if I can, so I can have at least one of each. And these two are really great figures. So we're going to be taking a look at the last two gigantic trackers for this year, because the first two were the Triceratops and the Neovenator. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Epic Evolution, Chaos Theory, Bajadasaurus, and Mapusaurus. So two brand new species. They're all in the Chaos Theory packaging, which I don't think they're in the show at all. I don't even think they are. They're just part of the tie-in material, which Mattel does all the time. Weirdly enough, Bajadasaurus was part of some Chaos Theory concept art, so I don't know. Maybe is this an official look for season 2? I don't know. But either way, these are two great species for sure. I'll move these out of the way so you can get a brief look at the packaging. It's pretty standard for the Epic Evolution line and standard for the Chaos Theory line. I used to call this dinosaur Bajadasaurus, but that was like when I first heard about it. So I was younger then, and right now I know it's like Bajadasaurus, like Baja, But yeah, the Bajadasaurus is part of the savanna, and the Mapusaurus is part of the swamp, and it's essentially the same. So on the back it just shows what the figure does. It's got evolved for battle and a rampage attack. Same with the Bajadasaurus, evolved for battle and rampage attack, which the evolved portion for the Bajadasaurus is pretty interesting. But all right, so here we got both of our figures out of the box, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the Bajadasaurus first. It was probably the one I liked more between the two, in my opinion. Just a very cool and an interesting sauropod choice for Mattel. Like I said, I don't know if this is because it's going to be in Chaos Theory Season 2 or whatnot, but either way, it's a great species. A very obscure one for sure. It's somewhat recently discovered, not totally. I don't even remember when it was officially announced or described or whatever. But it's a very unique looking sauropod. It's basically a Margosaurus with backward-facing spines. So we're all used to Margosaurus spines going like this, going that way, but Bajadasauruses are so weird. They curve forward. So a very bizarre-looking dinosaur for sure. And to me, it looks much better when the spines here are exposed rather than being covered with skin, because there is a chance or a possibility that these could have been covered in skin, or maybe part of it was covered in skin, just like those many interpretations of a Margosaurus having the exposed spikes or the covered in skin spikes, or maybe they're half exposed. Very cool stuff. I like all these cool interpretations of all these dinosaurs because we don't know for sure, but it's kind of cool to see a lot of people get their creative choices out there. But overall, just a really cool dinosaur for sure. A great size range for these smaller sauropods. I always like these type of size sauropods, like the Brachiosaurus dreadnoughtus and the Mapusaurus and all the others. Those are great for being super huge sauropods, but something about having smaller species of sauropods, it's just kind of fun to have. And there's so many they could probably do in this size range. But taking a look at this figure for the most part, it's a really great one. It's got great detail. You can see, like, here on the neck, it's got nice wrinkly textures and folds in the skin. So it kind of reminds me of the skin of an elephant, especially here looking at the legs. It's like there's no scales, whatever. It's just wrinkly, tough skin. So it has like this lined texture. You got some like little bumps sticking out here closer to the chest and shoulder area, which is pretty interesting, pretty cool. And you got some more larger osteoderms all over the back here. Not a whole lot, but you got some. And you got some more like that nice wrinkly texture all over the entire scope of this figure. So if you were to put like a black wash of paint over this, that detail, that dark color going through in between all these little crevices in the skin sculpt, man, this thing would pop so well. Because Mattel already does killer sculpts anyway, and their paint jobs are pretty good too. Sure, some of them could be a bit better, but for what they are, for being mass-produced toys, they are pretty good in my opinion. So yeah, detail is really great. I like this flap of skin that just kind of hangs here. That's a really cool touch. Kind of reminds me of a lot of reptiles that just have like flaps of skin that just like kind of sit there. The head is pretty nice too. It looks like well, whatever you would classify these sauropods to be, because I know Margosaurus and Bajadasaurus, they kind of fall into like their specific group, I believe. But really cool though. Nice sculpted eye. The nostrils are way up here for some reason, which I think they should have been a bit more closer to the mouth. But that's just me. I like how there's a beak on the mouth, or I guess you can call it just some sort of keratinous covering, which I like because I've seen a lot of paleo art that depict sauropods with a keratinous covering on the mouth that resembles a beak, which would probably help it strip plants off of trees or leaves off of trees or whatever. But really cool touch that they gave the sauropod a beak, because it really reminds me of those types of paleo art depicting sauropods. So really cool there. And obviously the main feature of Bajadasaurus are these spines like we were talking about earlier. And I really like the sculpt of these ones. These ones are just made of a harder plastic, but they're really cool though. Really cool. And the way how they're designed with all these little rings in it remind me of antlers that you'd find on antelope or a gazelle. They always have like these type of structures or this ring looking texture on it, so that's really cool. A really nice touch. You can see here at the top just some nice more detail, and you got some more spikes right here that continue to the body, and that's really it. So yeah, sculpt work is great. The overall design is awesome. The paint job is really good too. I really like it. Works for a good deserty savanna color. It's actually got 3 different colors on the body, minus the spikes in the eye, which the eye is a nice green color and the spikes are a nice gray color. But the upper half is like this maroon, reddish, light brown color. And then at the lower half, you got like this lighter beige color, almost kind of like skin color. So it's got some counter shading going on there, which is pretty nice. But in addition to that, in between both of the main colors, you got like a darker shade of like this beige color, almost like a very light pink, but it's darker than this. It's kind of hard to see here on camera, but you can kind of see it right there. It's got some extra paint here, which adds more to this figure, so I really do like that a lot. The different colors on the body, and like I said, it's kind of hard to see, but trust me, when you have it in person and you have it in certain lighting, it really pops. Just the different color that separates these 2 primary colors on the body, the upper half and the lower half one. So really cool. The spikes here are molded in like a gray plastic, and unfortunately these back spikes are not painted. They are a separate piece sculpted in here, so they are very rubbery and bendy. But it's unfortunate that they're not painted because it kind of looks a bit off and unfinished. And really enough, you got another of one of these little bendy spikes right here, and these ones are painted. So if these spikes look like this Bajadasaurus would definitely be even better with the completed spikes. But even some paint on the nails would have been fine too, but for what it is, it's pretty nice. Yeah, overall just some nice paint. You got the scan code here at the tail, so you got that. So going over articulation, the arms here, they can just move forward and backwards, kind of stiff, but they kind of lock in different positions, which kind of helps with posing a little bit. And they can pivot in and out as well, which is pretty cool. And they actually feel very hollow, very light when compared to like figures like the Margosaurus, which we'll compare later on, which is pretty interesting. The hind legs here are the same. They can just move forward and backwards, and they lock at different positions. And then the hips can also pivot in and out. But other than that, that's pretty much it for articulation. And then you got 2 action features. You got this button right here, which actually activates a tail. swipe action. So we're kind of going back to those Dino Rival days, which I do miss. I do miss the Dino Rivals line. That was pretty fun. So this reminds me of that. And funny enough, the Amargasaurus has the similar tail swiping action, which we'll do comparisons in a little bit. But pretty cool there. I do feel like maybe the tail is a bit short and stubby. Amargasaurus and Bajadasaurus probably had longer whip-looking tails, which I kind of wish they Mattel applied on here, but you know, it's not terrible. The tail looks fine and greatly sculpted no matter what. The other button is the classic Epic Evolution button, which you got this rubber feeling mouse wheel, which activates some action features. So we'll take a look at that. So if you push it down, so the neck can go down, the head even moves up, and the spikes spread out. And then you move it up, and then the head goes back down, and then the spikes close. So you can kind of see. So really cool stuff. I know for sure that Bajadasaurus probably had no way of moving these spikes. These were not used for defense anyway. These were probably used for more display and species recognition, and you know, trying to impress females or to intimidate rival males, or maybe to scare away some predators. So, but really cool though. Nice little feature. I was actually afraid that when I first saw this reveal, I thought the spikes were gonna be like coming out of the neck and then retracting back in, because there's no way that can happen. So this is actually fine. You know, I like how the spikes look when they're spread out. Very intimidating for sure. If I were a predator, I probably would not want to mess with this either. So really cool. Really do like this one a lot. Now we're gonna move on to the other one, which is the Mapusaurus, which is another Carcharodontosaur, because we got tons of those from Mattel already. And I like to group all my dinosaurs with their correct family. So my Carcharodontosaur section is growing pretty good. And this figure looks really good. The sculpt on this Mapusaurus is really good on mine. Or just the figure in general, not just mine. They're all gonna look the same. But yeah, just look at all of this scale detail. Like, look at the head. Very nice fine scale work. Reminds me of various kinds of reptiles, you know, snakes and all that. But just some really great detail. Like, look at this. Mattel packed a lot into this figure. Mattel is just, they're just growing. They're improving. Their figures are so good. Just look at that. All these finer scales all over the entire body right here. And here you got, like, at the leg, you got some plating right here around the kneecap. The feet are looking nice too, nicely sculpted with these ridges and the toes and the scuff work, or the line work here at the bottom of the feet, and some nice scale work. And some nice muscle definition poking out too, which is something really cool on the Bajadasaurus that I forgot to mention. So yeah, really great texture, really great sculpt and design on this Mapusaurus. I did not recognize, or I didn't even know anything about Mapusaurus to begin with, until I saw that documentary series, Planet Dinosaur, I believe is what it's called, which featured some Mapusauruses, I think tackling some Argentinasauruses, so that's pretty cool. And then here at the top, you got like this really cool rocky looking design, or I don't even know what you would call it. Like, they're not really spikes. I guess you could call them osteoderms, or just some armored plates. Just some really rough, rocky looking texture in the skin, which kind of adds to like the crest here for this dinosaur. Looking really nice. Reminds me of the Jurassic World Dominion Giga a little bit. You got the couple horns sticking out right here. Some nice row of these rocky texture, I guess, for the lack of a better term. And some more larger pebbles right here. Here at the back, you got some more of like this rocky texture, rocky looking design, which looks really cool. It really fits well with this dinosaur in my opinion. And it kind of continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. So really nice detail there. And some larger scales here at the top. And you got some larger bumps right here all over the leg, and here at the top half of the body, even here along the tail, and even here on the arms. So really nice sculpt work on this figure from Mattel. So Mattel, you guys did an excellent job with this Mapusaurus. Just I can't get over the detail. I tell you, man, a wash over these scales would make these pop so well. I mean, they already pop enough depending on where the shading is from the sun, but man, I mean, you kind of got a little bit right here from the darker color. So yeah, just the sculpt work pops, and I love the head sculpt. Very Carcharodontosaur-like. I think it matches a Mapusaurus pretty well for the most part. Just a really cool South American giant dinosaur, giant theropod. Here at the inside of the mouth is nicely sculpted, you know, very typical for the roof of the mouth. The tongue is nicely sculpted. Look at all that detail. Nice detail there, and I like the separate molded rubber teeth that Mattel's been doing with their figures lately, so keep that up, Mattel. You got some larger scales here at the lower jaw. Just some nice finer detail. Look at that. I can't get over just how amazing the sculpt is on this Mapusaurus. Like, it's extremely great. One thing I want to point out too is that the arms are really great on this one. Probably some of the best I've seen on a mainline figure. It's a really nice detail in the ridges and the claws and just the muscle definition and even the scales. And weirdly enough, these arms are made out of like a really soft rubbery plastic. Like, they are really easy to bend and move around, which feels kind of cool. Almost has like a real feel effect to it. So you can get like these fingers to move realistically, you know, if you were to play with these. So really cool bendy plastic. Yeah, and then the colors are very nice as well. It does fit in a jungle or a swampy environment for sure. It's got like this, it's also got some counter shading design going on. It's got like this really dark blue, kind of like a really dark navy blue for the top half that actually kind of stops right here at one of the larger scales right there. And then the lower half is like this white color, this kind of light beige color, which works really well for a dinosaur figure all the time. Just look at that detail right here. I can't stop talking about the detail. It's so good on this figure. Man, Mattel, this is why you're the best Jurassic Park toy company. But anyways, back to the color. The beige color is really nice. You also got like a black, I think, for the top half. So the entire part of all these cool rocky texture, scales, ridges, osteoderms or whatever, the entire top half is like this black color, which is kind of hard to see here on camera, but it's different than this blue. So you got some nice range of color. These figures have a really good range of color, I would say. Like, Mattel is just improving overall. And you got some of that black kind of circling around the eye socket and kind of stripes down right here, which is a really nice touch. It makes the eye stand out. It makes this blue separated from the black. Just a really great color palette here. Nostrils are nicely sculpted too, and some skull features popping through, which would not be necessarily accurate, but it is really cool. Nice sculpt around the eye. The eyes are nicely painted with an orange and a black pupil or a slit, which pops against this dark color. The inside of the mouth is nicely painted in like this fleshy mouth color. So yeah, really nice color palette here. And that blue and that white kind of continues down on that leg. And look at that, even the toe nails are painted in like this black color that can be seen here at the top. The black color even stripes down here a little bit. So really nice design in the paintwork, paint application. Sadly, the dew claw isn't painted, but I like how these are painted. Mattel is kind of going back to paint some of their figures. I guess it really kind of depends on budget. That determines on how much paint is needed. Unfortunately, these claws weren't painted, but these ones were. So in terms of articulation, the arms can pivot in and out, both of them, and they can rotate full 360. And then the hind legs here can move forward and backwards. They kind of have like that ratchet feel to it. And the hips can also pivot in and out. And then the ankles can also rotate. And then the tail, this part can also rotate as well. And yeah, that's basically it for articulation for the Mapu. And then you got these spikes back here, which are part of the action feature, which Well, actually, we'll just take a look at that. So you got a button right here on the back side that if you just press that, the spikes pop out for the evolution aspect, which is kind of weird. The spikes are very interesting looking. They're pretty thick looking spikes, and they have like this texture on them that has like little tiny spikes coming out of it. So a really interesting choice for a dinosaur. And to be honest, it's not the best evolution feature on these gigantic trackers. I think the first three, the Triceratops, Neovenator, and even the Bajadasaurus, have better ones. This one, the spikes just kind of look a bit unnatural to me. It kind of look weird on this dinosaur, and they're kind of like an orange, like a burnt orange color, similar to the Bajadasaurus' color scheme, except more orange, which kind of, I mean, it matches well, kind of like the eye does, but I don't know, just they kind of stand out a little too much in my opinion. I kind of like them down, at least they're a little bit more hidden, but that's just my opinion. Some of you guys may like it, some of you guys may not like it. I'm kind of 50-50. It's a cool feature, they look cool, but it just kind of looks off when they're sticking up like that. But yeah, that's the evolution feature. Then you got this scan code right here hidden in the armored looking plates. You got some more larger pebble scales right here too. Really great stuff. I'm noticing new stuff every single time. And then the other feature, he's got actually a double spin wheel right here, so very similar to the Beckel Spinax, that are made of a softer rubber that basically you just go down, the head goes down, the mouth opens, and you go up, then it stops in the middle, mouth closed, so it's a neutral position. Then you can go up and the neck goes up, the mouth opens. So pretty standard for these Epic Evolution figures, and they can go either way, so really cool. And I like how you can stop it in a certain pose, which will make posing and taking pictures really easy. So really cool. I like this Mapusaurus a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some quick size comparisons before we end this video. Here we got a human figure, which yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm not familiar with the size of Bajadasaurus, but this looks about right. Now the Mapusaurus, that actually leads me to the only thing I dislike about that figure, and that is the size. Mapusaurus was a huge Carcharodontosaur that would have been similar in size with Carcharodontosaurus, Giganotosaurus, just a large theropod dinosaur from South America. And Mattel like scaled it down into the gigantic trackers range, which I don't like, because it kind of takes away from it being a huge predatory dinosaur and just a medium one. You know, it should have been the same size as like the Giga or the T-Rex or something like that. So it's unfortunate that the scale is not correct, but standing alone, just looking at it alone, it's a really great figure. So now we're gonna take a look at some other dinosaurs that are similar to these. First, we'll take a look at the Bajadasaurus compared with the Amargasaurus. So here we got Mattel's Amargasaurus from the Dino Rivals line of 2019, excuse me. And they look pretty good. They're obviously very similar in terms of species. As you can see, the Amargasaurus has spines that go that way and the Bajadasaurus goes that way. So they look really cool together. I was really anticipating displaying these two together once I got the Bajadasaurus, because, you know, Amargasaurus kind of felt left out. But yeah, I mean, they look really great together. Really, really great together. You can also see just a huge improvement in terms of just sculpt. Mattel's just, like I said, improving. So really cool seeing these two together, and they have similar action features. And they got tail smacks and all that. Tail swipes. So really cool. Really brings me back to those awesome 2019 days. Yeah, really cool there. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at the Mapusaurus compared with the Carcharodontosaurus, which these dinosaurs share a couple things in common. One, they're both Carcharodontosaurs, and two, they're both incredibly underscaled. These dinosaurs did not get the proper scaling. These guys should have been huge like the Giga. Instead, they are scaled down, which is unfortunate, but together they look really great. You could even have a moment of these two dinosaurs fighting and just say that these guys are really huge and just not have any humans compared with it. But yeah, these two look really great together. The Mapusaurus definitely has probably the better paint application, going from the head to the tail to the legs to the painted nails. Bajadasaurus, I love the color scheme from Jurassic World Evolution, which is what this is based off of, and it looks really good. The sculpt is really good too, as you can see, but you know, the paint is kind of lacking. It could have had like maybe an underbelly color, like a white. Then obviously the toenails should have been painted as well. But really cool stuff nonetheless. Yeah, just having all these Bajadasaurus compared with each other just look really cool in my opinion. So yeah. So everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review, or double review I should say. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For my overall final thoughts, I enjoyed these figures a lot. I actually probably like them a bit more now that I got to sit down and talk about them. And yeah, these are just really great. Great detail, great paint application, great features, and just overall cool looking dinosaurs. You know, kids would go nuts to have just a cool dinosaur toy like these. And obviously I recommend these for any Jurassic Park collector, toy collector out there. Highly recommend just picking these ones up, especially if you're someone who wants to collect all the species that Mattel makes. And yeah, just overall really great. And I'm looking forward to seeing what dinosaurs of this size range will we be getting next year, you know, because we got that new Jurassic movie. So who knows what's in store for us. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.